morning, second grade, and welcome to language arts class. We're working on the last light unit now, so that's exciting. We're almost finished with 10 light units. And so we will see what we have in this light unit. They are getting us to do a book report in the next few lessons, so you can think about finding a good book to read that you've not ever read before. And yeah, sitting down and reading that book. Every day they'll give you about 15 minutes to read your book. And so try to find a book that's not too big and not too small either. Maybe your mom can kind of help you out with that since I'm not with you. So yeah, we're going to find a book that we'd like to read, and that's what we'll be working on the next few lessons. Let's first of all do some review here before we go into our lesson for today. So we have thinking about compound words or compound sentences. Compound sentences are two sentences put together into one sentence, and they are joined with small words like and, but, and or. That's what we learned in your lesson, in the last lessons, in the last light unit. So let's review now the capitalization chart. You can see here on the capitalization chart. So we have number 1 here, which is capitalize the first word of a sentence. Number 2, capitalize names of people and pets. Number 3, capitalize important words in titles. Number 4, capitalize the word I. Number 5, capitalize names for God. Number 6, capitalize the naming nouns. Now, naming nouns are anything specific nouns like names of people and pets, like specific names of people, like all of your names like Lincoln, Zach, Jadrian, Clayton, Brooklyn, Dakota, Ariana, Rachel, Callie, Bracy, Elijah, Emerson, Taylor, Wilson, Samantha, and Aaliyah. All of those are naming nouns, so they all need to be capitalized. Okay, then let's go to 7. It says to capitalize the name of a city and state or a city and province. Number 8, capitalize each word in an address. Number 9, capitalize abbreviations of states and provinces. Number 10, capitalize months of the year. Number 11, capitalize the days of the week and abbreviations for days of the week. Number 12, capitalize abbreviations for names of months. Number 13, capitalize titles of respect. Number 14, capitalize abbreviations for titles of respect. Number 15, capitalize initials. Like initials are the first letters of each of your name. Like say for my name is Frida Joy Stolzfus. So my initials would be FJS. And so you need to capitalize each initial. Number 16, capitalize titles of stories. And 17, capitalize the greeting, closing, and signature in a friendly letter. We just learned about that recently. Number 18, capitalize names of holidays. And number 19, capitalize names of countries. So like our country is United States, so we would capitalize U and S for United States. All right, so let's think about how words are listed in the dictionary. So in the dictionary, we have what we call the guide words, and the guide words, I'll just show you again. The guide words are up here at the top of the page. They guide us to knowing which words are on this page. And then we also have entry words, and each one of these words in bold print on the page are called the entry words. So how are words listed in a dictionary? Did you ever think about it that words in the dictionary are not too hard to find because they're listed in a certain way. They are listed in alphabetical order. So we have First we have the A words, and then the B words, and then the C words, and then the D words, and on like that through the whole dictionary. They're listed in alphabetical order. So that helps us to find words a little easier since they're listed in alphabetical order. Okay, so let's think about this sentence here on the board. We have a sentence, be buzzed. Now that sentence it needs some more words to it. So let's add some more describing words, or let's think about where the bee buzzed, or yeah, what kind of bee. So we can say, let's think about maybe this sentence. We could say the busy honeybee buzzed out to the wildflowers. Okay, so that gives us a little bit more, like we have describing words here, and it also tells us where the bee would have gone. And we could also say another one. We could say the angry bee buzzed around the little boy's head. Like let's say it would be a hornet or a wasp or some stinging bee like that. You know, they get kind of mad sometimes. So yeah, you could use that sentence. Also, you could use all kinds of different ideas for bee buzzed. You could just use your imagination. You can build all kinds of different sentences. It's actually kind of fun to build sentences like that. Okay, so yeah, let's now go into your lesson for today. If you don't have your books open yet, open your light unit books, your new light unit books I just gave you on Friday or last weekend, whenever you got them. So you can open your books up to lesson 1 and page 1, and we will read the teaching box there, so you can follow along as I read the teaching box there. So we are having about a book report, and the teaching box says, have you ever told a friend about a book you have read? Perhaps you read a book about kangaroos and told a friend about it. That was a book report. Book reports are a way of communicating. You tell others what you liked or didn't like about the book. As you do this light unit, you will read a book, and then in lesson 8, give a book report. You will read your book a little each day. For creative writing, you will write a short report about your book. Think as you read. Some books make you laugh and others make you sad. Think about why your book makes you happy or sad. Find out where the story happened. Remember who or what the book is about. The author of a book is the person who wrote the book. You can usually find the author's name on the front cover. Okay, so let's look at your study word that you have today, and you can follow along as I read it, and you can actually read it with me too. So it says author, the name of a person who writes a book. Okay, so for the next 4 lessons, you'll have a time of like 15 minutes each lesson where you're going to read your book. So first of all, you have to find a book, and we talked about this a little bit before. You will try to find a book, like look in your library. You're pretty much at home these days, so that's probably all the further you can look. The library sometimes, the public library in your local town, they would have some interesting books sometimes. But I figure you can find some good books at home too. And so you can look in your library at home and see what for book that, maybe it's a book you've never read before. That would be wonderful if it's one you never read before. If it's one that you've read before and you really liked it, you may also use that one. But just reread it, like every day they're going to give you about 15 minutes to reread the book that you're going to be writing about, just so that you know all the details about it. And so you can, you can find your book and then you can, we're going to write and tell about it. You would be doing it to your classmates, and so it's kind of sad because there's no school going right now. We can't tell and hear all your different book reports, so that's kind of too bad. But yeah, you might have to tell them to your family at home. So that would be an idea. You could tell it to your family at home. You could stand in front of your family like sometime when they're all together, and then you can tell them your book report, and that would be a good thing to do. And so anyway, so today we are focusing on finding a book you'd like to read and talk about. And try to find one you've never read before. But if it's one that you've read before and you've really liked it, that will be okay as well. Okay, so now talking about the book report. So you can now turn to page 2. And it's about creative writing. They are telling us what to do today. You may follow along as I read, so turn to page 2 if you're not there already and follow along with creative writing. It says, Part A, follow these directions. Go to the library and choose a book. Look at the cover and at the pictures to see if it is interesting. Read a few paragraphs in the book to make sure that it's not too hard to read. So what they're saying is, like, read a few paragraphs at the beginning of the book just to make sure it's not too hard to read. Some books are a little bit more your size and some are a little bit harder to read, so make sure it's one that's your size, and yeah, that would be easier to tell about then. Okay, so number 2, show your book to your teacher, and since you're not with me, you can show it to your mom, and your mom, I'm sure she can help you to decide if it's a good book to write about, or an interesting one, or one your size. Yeah, your mom can help you with that. And so then number 3 says, tell your teacher the title and author. So again, you can tell your mom the title and the author. So the title of a book is right at the top on the outside cover, of course, that usually they have a title. And the author, remember, the author is the person who wrote the book, and often they have also the name of the person who wrote the book on the outside front cover of the book. Okay, so yeah, I'm just going to show you some books here that I thought were kind of interesting. I got them out of the school library here, and I thought they were kind of interesting. This is one that Snowshoe Thompson, it's called. And so this is a story about interesting story about a man that he helped a little boy had wanted to send his dad a letter. And so his dad was living far away from home, and there was a bunch of snowy mountains in between. And so yeah, he made skis, and somehow this man was going to help this boy to get the letter to his dad. It's really a good book. And also I thought about this one. It's called The Rightful Owner by Jessie Stewart. And it's a story about a warm and wonderful adventure story about a boy and his love for his dog. This is another good book, Uncle Tom's Cabin. And this one to find, sometimes you might have to look inside the book to find who wrote this one. You would have to. So this one was written by Harriet Beecher Stowe. And so sometimes you might have to look inside the book to find the author. But usually they're on the outside cover like this one would be. Okay, so, yeah. Going on to part B. Part B says now that you will, once you found your book and you showed it to your mom and everything, then you can do part B. It says, to read your library book for 15 minutes. So for 15 minutes, you can sit down and try to find a quiet place, because then you can concentrate better. And so you can read your book for 15 minutes. And then going on to part C, it says, write the following things about your book. So it tells you what to write. First of all, you'll write the title. So they give you a line to write the title down for number 4. And then number 5, you will write the author. And yeah, the author again is the person who wrote the book. Okay, and then you can follow the rest of your directions for your lesson today. It's pretty much just review of what you had before, but let's go on to penmanship. You will review the I and the J and the T in penmanship today. There's no new letters. So then you also have a sentence to write which says, Jesus loves the Indians and Turks. Let's review the I and the J and the T here on the board. So the I, you start on the right and you go up like this. And the J starts on the right as well, goes around like that, slanting down there a little bit and like this. And the T will go like that. Okay, so that's the I and J and T. Let's go on to spelling now. Today you have new spelling words, and I will read them to you. Follow along here as I read your spelling words. It's on page 4, so follow along as I read them. So the first one is, well, we could say that's lives or lives. Let's just say it's lives for today. So lives, I'm going to go across. Lives, halves, cuffs, cliffs, child, calves, loaves, wolves, knives, children, wives, leaves, puffs, shelves, and America. Okay, so when remember the suffix rule for when a word ends with FE, you will change FE to VE and add S. Like for the word life, you have lives, and so life is spelled like this. So when you want to add a suffix to the end of that, like make it more than one, then you will need to change FE to VE and add S. So it will be written like this. And the same way with some of those others, like we have calves and loaves and leaves. There's quite a few of those in there today, knives and shelves. So changing from singular to plural, which these words are plural, so they had to change the FE to VE and add S to the end. We'll talk about that some more probably throughout the week. Now, remember that if you start a sentence going down to part J, it says to write the spelling word in each sentence. So if you start a sentence, like for number 13, it will begin with a capital letter. When you write your word in there, make sure you begin it with a capital letter because it begins a sentence. So yeah, you can remember that for number 13. Let's talk a little bit about America. America names a place and must be capitalized. So like we live in America, America names a specific place, so it will need to be capitalized. Okay, and then you can also do part K to write the spelling words on other paper. That's an important thing to do, is to keep writing spelling words because it helps you to memorize those words, and then when you go write them, then you automatically know what they are. So yeah, try to remember to write your spelling words down also. Okay, I'm not going to keep you any longer. You can go ahead and think about your book report and do your lesson, and have a good day.